Attention Townies, campus is going to be crowded starting this weekend. Now News 18 this morning, a first look at what you need to know for Boiler Gold Rush at Purdue University.
Well, it's beautiful right now, but I am tracking a fairly stormy weekend ahead, so stay tuned for all the details on that.
News 18 this morning starts now. WLFI Lafayette, news from where you live.
Good morning, it's 5 o'clock on August 11th. I'm Joe Paul, and hey, it's Friday, so let's check in with meteorologist Jacob Campbell now, who's tracking everything we need to know for tonight and this weekend. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning, Joe. Yeah, so right now we are it's pretty nice outside at the moment. We are clear, temperatures are nice and low. We're sitting around 65 right now. We don't have any rain at the moment. We did get clipped by a little bit of rain off to our far northeastern counties, but generally we stayed dry overnight. And we are watching this system that's right now it's booking it across Iowa. Right now it's in eastern Iowa. This has moved very quickly across the area. So we are tracking this for some rain chances today, some rain and thunderstorm chances as well. Looking at our current conditions, we are at 65 degrees, dew points at 65 as well. And so we don't have any fog right now, but I am expecting some to develop over the course of the next hour or two. We are calm at the moment in terms of wind, and we are clear outside. Current visibilities are looking pretty good. We are at about 6.5 miles out in Attica, about 7.5 in Fowler, 7 in Rensselaer, about 6 here in Lafayette. So we are pretty clear in terms of fog for the moment. But again, I am expecting those visibilities to decrease over time. We are sitting in the mid 60s across the viewing area. Got a 67 up in Peru, but 63s down in Crawfordsville and Newmarket. Now for the weekend, I am tracking a fairly stormy weekend, but a much cooler start to the week, and I'll even have a drought update in my full forecast. And taking a look at traffic, we are pretty clear on traffic. It is flowing fairly smooth. So if you're headed outside, we don't have fog yet, but it will be coming up. So pay attention to that when you're riding to work.
Thanks, Jacob, and a few road construction alerts to pass along to you from the Indiana Department of Transportation. Let's start off here in Clinton County. DOT says a portion of State Road 39 will be closed on or after August 25th for bridge work near Reagan. The road will be shut down between County Road 650 South and 550 South. The official detour follows State Road 47 to US 421 to State Road 38 and back to State Road 39. Work should be done by mid-November, weather permitting. Next, we go north into Newton County. INDOT says a portion of State Road 10 will be shut down on Monday. Maintenance crews will be seal coating the road. The closure takes place between US 41 and County Road 600 East and 1200 West. The official detour follows I-65, State Road 2, and US 41. The road will be closed for about 2 days, weather permitting. Tippecanoe School Corporation's gearing up for the first day of school. Students head back to the classroom on Tuesday. New this morning, TSC added a new face with a lot of responsibility when it comes to keeping students safe. News 18's Hadassah Harris tells us more about the corporation's new transportation director. Hi, Hadassah.
Good morning, Joe. That's right. Some new faces will be taking their places at Tippecanoe School Corporation as it recently announced its new director of transportation. Former school administrator Chris Bearden has taken on the role of managing the entire bus fleet, overseeing 19 schools within roughly 490 miles. Having over 100 bus drivers, the goal is to efficiently transport students from point A to point B. For Bearden, the goal is to open up all lines of communication between the school buildings to make for a smoother pickup and drop-off process for both the students and administrators.
What I would like to do is to try and bring a little bit more collaboration with the school buildings, the principals. We've added a second operations manager, and so what we hope to do is divide the school corporation in north and south, and that way we can be a little bit more proactive in dealing with student discipline or any route issues that are going on.
Bearden noted that there are over 13,500 students that will be riding a TSC school bus. So parents and guardians who wish to help the bus drivers, they ask that they remind their students to pay attention to their surroundings, listen to the bus drivers, and please do not stand up before the bus comes to a complete stop. Reporting in West Lafayette, I'm Hadassah Harris, News 18.
Thanks, Hadassah. Thousands of soon-to-be Boilermakers will soon be descending on campus. News 18's Vinny Martirano has more details on what students and townies need to know about Boiler Gold Rush.
We're just 5 days away from the Boiler Gold Rush, and this group of 800 student volunteers are ready to handle one of the largest groups of incoming Purdue students this year. This year, over 8,200 incoming Purdue students are registered for the Boiler Gold Rush. Starting August 15th, there will be a variety of activities and events planned throughout campus. They call it a festival for 8,000 18-year-olds. There are campus tours, a Purdue women's soccer game, and getting a 4-day taste of life at Purdue. Director of Orientation Programs, Craig Johnson, says what incoming students can expect from next week.
Just to have a lot of fun, to do a lot of walking around campus because we want to help introduce them to the community, help them know where their first classes are on Monday when they start, and to make sure that they're making some connections and networks with people.
Johnson says campus is going to be hectic next week, so plan your commutes accordingly. The Purdue orientation staff is expecting their biggest move-in to come on this Sunday when they're expecting 3,000 kids to move in. Reporting here on Purdue University's campus, Vinny Martirano, News 18.
A housing counseling agency just received a grant from State Farm to help with its cause. Homestead CS is a nonprofit organization serving 10 counties in Indiana. The agency helps families get affordable housing by providing financial education and helping them access a surplus of resources for their specific housing issues. Last year, Homestead helped over 1,300 families. Well, this ceremony took place at the historic Jefferson Center on North 9th Street.
There's a huge affordable housing crisis happening in our nation and very specifically in our counties, in our state. Tippecanoe has the least amount of affordable available units for low to moderate income families in the state of Indiana. So we have to do something about that. We have to make sure that families stay in the homes they have. So State Farm's money will help pay for my counselors to ensure that that happens, because I cannot charge our families for this money. They're struggling enough.
Almost all of Homestead's programs are free. For more information, head to WLFI.com. Across the state of Indiana, including right here in Lafayette, you can find a Safe Haven baby box. Well, down in Carmel, another baby was surrendered. It's the 4th surrender there in a year and a half. Rachel Wilkerson takes a look at how this service works.
A mother who has basically said, I want what's best for my child, and it's not me. It's heroic, it's selfless.
Surrendering your child anonymously to a Safe Haven baby box is what founder Monica Kelsey describes as an act of true love.
These babies aren't abandoned. They're legally, safely, lovingly, and anonymously surrendered to another parent who can give them what the birth parent cannot.
But she says with that comes possible grief.
It's a double-edged sword. Because of course we're ecstatic that a baby was not found in a dumpster or a trash can and was placed in our Safe Haven baby box. But then on the flip side of that is we know we have a mom out there that felt like she had no other resources or no other options.
That's why you'll find the National Safe Haven Crisis Hotline, 1-866-99-BABY-1, and orange bags inside each of the more than 150 baby boxes across the country. They're filled with mental health, financial, and medical resources.
So when the mother opens the door, this is the first thing she sees besides the bassinet where she's going to place the baby. What it says is, please know your rights. It lets mom know all the information she needs to know. The goal is to take care of the mother and the baby at all times, by all means.
Carmel Fire Station number 345 safely received its 4th baby in the Safe Haven baby box earlier this week. Division Chief John Moriarty says the firefighters welcome this with arms wide open. He and his wife also stay with the baby at the hospital until an adopted family is chosen. He wants mothers to know they respect decisions to remain anonymous, but are here for you too.
And she will be treated and transported just in a separate ambulance. And then that way the mother, if she chooses to come back for her baby, she can do that. She can appeal for that in court and start the process that way. So we want to mention that for 30 to 45 days, she has that option available to her.
Chief Moriarty says mothers can also legally surrender babies in person at hospitals, police, or other fire stations.
Again, that was Rachel Wilkerson reporting. The Carmel Fire Station's baby box was the 7th to be established in the nation and has the highest number of surrenders so far. The Hoosier Lottery for Saturday is the highest state jackpot in the country and the second highest domestic jackpot altogether. The Hoosier Lottery jackpot reached $27.5 million for the Saturday drawing. The last jackpot win took place last September. The Hoosier Lottery has contributed more than $7 billion to various causes throughout its history, including supporting firefighters and police officers' pensions and donating to the Teachers Retirement Fund. Still to come, new details, disturbing details in the death of a 4-year-old boy, how authorities believed he died after ruling the case homicide. Plus, 2 suspects in another homicide face informal murder charges. More about the victims' gruesome injuries and why police believe 2 men from Texas are to blame. And if you and a 4-legged friend are looking for something to do this weekend, look no further. We'll tell you about some upcoming events in a dog-friendly version of our weekend planner.
Well, I'm tracking a stormy weekend ahead, a much cooler start to the work week, and then an update on the drought conditions that we've been having. All of that and more in my full forecast next.
You're watching News 18 this morning. News from where you live.
Welcome back. It's 5:13 and there are plenty of ways for you and a furry friend to have some fun tonight and tomorrow. Here's a preview to chew on as you plan out your weekend. You still got time to check out the Pooch Plunge by Lafayette Parks and Recreation. The plunge takes place at Castaway Bay from 5 to 8 tonight. Registration costs $10 for 1 dog and an additional $5 for each additional dog. You can register online or at the gate. And if your pups are still up to play, take them to the Art Bark and Brew Festival. That happens at 7 Saturday night at the Art Museum of Greater Lafayette. The address is 102 South 10th Street in Lafayette. The event features food trucks, drinks, and live music. You can also memorialize your dog by having a print made of its paw. And later on Saturday, dogs also allowed at this month's Mosey Down Main Street. The Summer Street Festival happens tomorrow night from 6 to 9 in downtown Lafayette. It's one of 5 Moseys this season. You can grab a drink and check out live music, entertainment, food trucks, and craft vendors.
And now, your Storm Team 18 forecast. Weather from where you live.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is the beginning of a beautiful day today. We are mostly clear outside right now. We have a couple of clouds lingering that are starting to move out of the area. Unfortunately, it's not the end of all the cloud cover, though. You can see this cloud deck starting to move off to the west. We had a little shower that clipped the northeastern counties, but we've mostly remained dry in the overnight hours. We are watching this system off here, making its way across eastern Iowa at the moment, about to push into Illinois. That will bring us a little bit of rainfall this morning and into the afternoon hours, but then we have another wave that we're watching after that may bring us even an isolated severe chance. We're at 65 right now, dew points at 65 as well. Winds are calm and it is clear outside. With those dew points and temperatures being so close, I am expecting some patchy fog to set up here over the course of the next hour or so. We can see a couple of reduced visibilities, but nothing too bad to speak of at the moment. Just a couple of 6 mile or 6.5 mile visibilities across the area, but we are looking pretty good so far. Now, at our current temperatures, we are sitting in the mid 60s across the viewing area. We've got a 67 in Monticello, 65 out in Winnemac, 65 down in Frankfort, 63 both in Newmarket and Crawfordsville, and a 66 out in Covington. Now, when we look at the daily planner today, we start off right around 64 degrees. The temperatures will still go down a little bit. We're going to be at a wind at around 6 miles an hour from the south-southwest and partly cloudy. Clouds will begin to build as the day moves on, and we even have a 10% chance of rain between noon to 3 p.m. I'm expecting rain chances to be a little higher in between those hours, closer to a 20% chance. But it won't be a washout today by any stretch of the imagination. We'll be at 79 by noon. We'll get up to 83 by 3 and 6 p.m. Winds will even be pretty gusty at times as the remnants of this move through our area. So we can see right at 9:30 that system that I showed you that's now in Iowa has moved further to the east and is now in central Illinois. This will push through the area, bringing us a couple of showers. Should be out of here by about 3 to 4 p.m. and then we'll be dry for the rest of the day, but then later on, especially in the overnight hours, right around 4 to 5 a.m., we'll have this system bringing us thunderstorms overnight that will begin to push in and exit by late morning tomorrow morning. So we will have a little bit of a stormy night, especially closer to the early morning hours. But Saturday's setting up to look mostly nice. We'll have a couple of shots at thunderstorms. The biggest chance of thunderstorms this weekend is going to come on Sunday. We are in a marginal risk for severe weather for that system that'll move through late tonight, and that's mostly a wind threat. There is a small hail threat and a small flooding threat as well, and there's not really a chance of tornadoes tonight whatsoever. We even have a risk on, should say Saturday, but this is for Saturday. This is from the remnants of that system that brought us that marginal risk, pushing out into the early morning hours tomorrow. Now, when we take a look at Futurecast, we can see we get chance of rain on Monday, then that moves out, and we should be pretty clear for the rest of the week, and that drought monitor update is looking really good. We are out of drought conditions for the vast majority of the viewing area. Only a couple of abnormally dry conditions left to speak of. 83 today with a couple of PM isolated thunderstorms. 85 on Saturday with a small chance of some thunderstorm activity. Sunday is going to be the day with the best chance for thunderstorms this weekend. High of 84. Scattered thunderstorm chances on Monday, 76. Then we're dry the rest of the week with temperatures in the 70s on Tuesday, 80s Wednesday and Thursday, and it looks like we may even get a return of the 90s come next Sunday.
All right, well, until then, lots of rain to watch out for, it sounds like.
It won't be a washout. We've got pretty low chances today and tomorrow, but Sunday and Monday are going to be the 2 days to watch in terms of rain chances.
Absolutely, and even maybe a few spits last night. Did I notice that as I was going to bed? A few spits of rain?
Yeah, we had a couple. We had a couple little cells that moved through, but not everyone saw it. So.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate it. And a sweet treat's creating a not-so-sweet problem. Why health officials think a multi-state listeria outbreak's connected to ice cream cups. When we come back,
watching News 18 This Morning. News from where you live.
Good morning, it's 5:22. If you'd like to cool down with a frozen treat, you might want to check your freezer first. The Food and Drug Administration believes a multi-state listeria outbreak may be connected to ice cream cups. So far, 2 people have been hospitalized. Investigators tested an unopened container of soft serve on the go from one of those patients' freezers, and it tested positive for the bacteria. Real Kosher Ice Creams recalled its soft serve on the go cups. These cups are sold in 19 states and Washington, D.C. More people died from suicide in the U.S. last year than any other year on record. That's according to provisional data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The CDC says more than 49,000 lives were lost due to intentional self-harm in 2022. Guns were involved in more than half of all those suicides. The suicide rate spiked in 2021 after 2 years of decline, and with the continued increase in 2022, rates rose above the previous record from 2018. The data won't be final until later this year. Last month marks the first anniversary of the launch of 988, which is a 911 for suicide prevention. But a poll last month found more than 80% of adults were unfamiliar with or had never heard of it. And the number of new cases of long COVID are on the decline. The CDC says the number of U.S. adults diagnosed with long COVID is down 7.5% from June 2022 to June 2023. While the news is encouraging, an estimated 23 million U.S. patients still struggle with the condition. Long COVID includes respiratory, neurologic, cardiovascular, and other symptoms that can last weeks, months, or years. The most common symptom is extreme fatigue, with 1 in 4 patients surveyed saying they struggle with daily activities like holding down a job or going to the grocery store. In 2021, the National Institutes of Health launched a $1.15 billion research initiative at better understanding, treating, and preventing long COVID. All right, we're looking out on I-65 right now, and your Friday is looking good, but we're keeping track of some scattered storms, so Jacob will tell you more about that next.
You're watching News 18 This Morning. News from where you live.
Welcome back. Lots to do this weekend. Hoping we stay dry. We got maybe some small chances of rain to think about, right, Jacob?
Yeah, Friday and Saturday look like the chances are pretty low, but still there. Today we'll get a little shot at rain early on, and then a better one much later and into Saturday morning. Then it looks like most of Saturday is pretty dry, high of 85. Sunday, best chance of storms in the next 3 days, high of 84. Then we drop all the way down into the 70s for Monday and Tuesday, but then we dry out Tuesday through Thursday. And in the 10 days, it looks like 90s could be in the horizon come next Sunday.
News 18's Pet of the Day, sponsored by Trisha's Redbird Cafe.
It's time to name News 18 this morning's Pet of the Day. Today we got two winners. These two canines are Sophia and Zoe. In this photo, big sister Sophia is showing little 4-month-old Zoe the cuddle bed and teaching her how to be a beagle. Their owner adds that this picture captured a rare moment where both dogs were calm, and these two beagles are very vocal. All right, well, they got the specialized cuddle bed there for the dogs, just cuddling up. Looked like they get along pretty well.
They do. That's awesome. I wish I was cuddled up in bed at the moment.
I know, that looks amazing. Hey, if there's room for me and Jacob, scoot over. We're on our way.
Sounds good to me.
You can submit your favorite pet photo on our website, WLFI.com, for a chance to be featured as our Pet of the Day right here on News 18 this morning. And there's still more News 18 this morning on the way. As always, stay connected with us on our website, WLFI.com. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Got you. Oh. Can you... Mic check 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
We know how a 4-year-old Lafayette boy died after weeks of uncertainty. Now on News 18 this morning, more about the grim revelations from his autopsy.
We're dry right now, but I am tracking storms on their way. Stay tuned to find out all the timing details on that.
Tippecanoe School Corporation recently named its new transportation director. Find out his goals up next.
News 18 This Morning starts now. WLFI Lafayette. News from where you live.
Welcome back. It's 5:31 on August 11th. I'm Joe Paul. Thank you for joining us as we get a start on our weekend here. Let's check in with meteorologist Jacob Campbell. He's got everything we need to know, including some rain chances that could be coming our way. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning, Joe. So we are clear at the moment. We've got some clouds that are working their way out. We are not going to be free of clouds for the day, though. We'll just have a little lull period between areas of more dense clouds. We can see that cloud cover here on satellite radar moving out of our area, but just off to our west, we've got another system of rain that looks like it'll make its way into our area. It may bring us a little bit of a shower in the early afternoon hours, but then dissipate as it moves through our area. But we're tracking more storms later into the night tonight, and I'll have more details on that. Right now, though, our current conditions, we are at 65 degrees, dew points at 65, winds are calm, and we are clear right now. With those dew points being so close to the temperature, I am tracking the potential for some spotty fog. We're right now right around just over 5.5 miles of visibility out in Attica, about 7 in Fowler, 7 in Rensselaer, 6 here in Lafayette. So visibility is still very good. I'm expecting this fog to set up over the course of the next hour or so. Across the rest of the viewing area, we are sitting in the mid-60s still. Crawfordsville has dropped down to 61, Newmarket down to 62. The rest of us are sitting around the 65 range, but this weekend I'm tracking a couple of chances of storms, a much cooler start to the work week, and an update on the drought. And taking a look at traffic, we are flowing smoothly. We do have that risk for some fog, though, so if you're headed out the door, just be extra vigilant on your way in.
Thanks, Jacob. And Tippecanoe School Corporation's gearing up for the first day of classes. Students head back to the classroom on Tuesday. New this morning, TSC added a new face with a lot of responsibility when it comes to student safety. News 18's Hadassah Harris is live to tell us more about the corporation's new transportation director. Hi, Hadassah.
Hi, Joe. Yeah, that's right. TSC has named its new transportation director, and turns out he's a former administrator. He is taking over the transportation department, and he has hopes of really increasing the communication between school buildings to make for a smoother pickup and drop-off process for both students and administrators. Bearden says that he's excited about what's to come.
And our bus drivers are excited, and so we just hope that we can provide a good first week, 2-week, month experience for those students and for those schools to get the kids to and from school safely and on time.
Bearden also noted that there are over 13,500 students that will be taking a TSC school bus. With that, he hopes that parents remind their students to be watchful and mindful of their surroundings, to make sure that they stay seated until the bus has made a complete stop, and also listen to their bus drivers. Reporting in West Lafayette, I'm Hadassah Harris, News 18.
Thanks, Hadassah. Thousands of soon-to-be Boilermakers will soon be descending on campus. News 18's Vinny Martirano has more details on what students and us townies need to know about Boiler Gold Rush.
We're just 5 days away from the Boiler Gold Rush, and this group of 800 student volunteers are ready to handle one of the largest groups of incoming Purdue students this year. This year, over 8,200 incoming Purdue students are registered for the Boiler Gold Rush. Starting August 15th, there will be a variety of activities and events planned throughout campus. Students are going to be walking throughout campus, learning the area, and finding their classes. For West Lafayette residents, this means planning your commutes accordingly. Director of Orientation Programs Craig Johnson says which areas you should avoid trying to get around Purdue next week.
The residential side of campus is going to be pretty busy from Sunday through Tuesday. That's about from McCormick Drive and over on State Street, Mitch Daniels Boulevard, and over to Grant Street as well. So that heart of campus is going to be where a lot of the move-in is taking place.
Johnson says it'll take you a lot longer to drive through campus next week with the added foot traffic. The Purdue orientation staff is expecting their biggest move-in to come on this Sunday, when they're expecting 3,000 kids to move in. Reporting here on Purdue University's campus, Vinny Martirano, News 18.
In continuing coverage of last Friday night's homicide in Lafayette, 2 men facing formal murder charges after a shootout during a drug deal gone wrong. Prosecutors recently charged 21-year-old David Trevino and 23-year-old Adrian Suarez, both from Texas. Trevino and Suarez were in Lafayette for temporary work. Police say the pair plotted to rob the victim after meeting with him to buy pot. They say a shootout ensued when both sides pulled out guns. They face several other felony charges as well, including conspiracy to commit armed robbery. As we've reported, the shooting happened in the 2000 block of Roosevelt Avenue. The coroner says 21-year-old Jordan Lovell was shot multiple times in the chest. And new details in another Lafayette homicide. The coroner says blunt force trauma is the cause of a 4-year-old child's death. After an autopsy last week, officials were initially unsure how Keandre Jolly died. As we've reported, Jolly died after a 4-day stay at Riley Children's Hospital. Medics found him unresponsive on July 28th. It happened inside an apartment in the 800 block of North 13th Street. This case remains under investigation. No one yet has been arrested or charged. We've seen several cases of children getting their hands on guns and accidentally shooting parents or siblings. Many of these cases result in serious injury or death, and these preventable tragedies are fueling the issue of gun safety. Tiana Baxter digs into easy steps that should be taken to keep those accidents from happening.
You can just tell police are frustrated, saying they're starting to sound like a broken record as this conversation is nothing new, but the incidents keep happening.
It's a disaster when it happens. And you can't take it back.
The South Bend Police Department wants to remind the public of the importance of gun safety following a tragic incident that occurred on the city's south side, where a 2-year-old shot his 1-year-old cousin while playing with his father's gun that they found.
You can't talk to anyone here at the police department or in the prosecutor's office who hasn't seen this time and time again. We get sick of saying it.
As frustration grows, it's brought the department to think of other ways to help lower the amount of accidental gun tragedies. Through a large donation, they are giving gun owners free gun locks to help keep their weapons locked up and safe.
Take the metal rod and put it all the way through the weapon. And when it's all the way through, you obviously want to be gentle. When you can put it back in the gun, it pops back into place and the key comes out.
And from there, it's nearly impossible to fire.
While this is in here, the gun itself cannot be closed. At the same time, nothing can be put in the magazine, so ammunition cannot be put in here anyway. They will still have access to the trigger, but because there is no ammunition inside the gun and the gun is not completely closed, it can't fire.
But parents also have a responsibility. Police say parents need to have gun safety talks with children so they are aware of the rules and dangers.
Again, that was Tiana Baxter reporting. A housing counseling agency received a special grant from State Farm to help with its cause. Homestead CS is a nonprofit organization serving 10 counties in Indiana. The agency helps families get affordable housing by providing financial education and helping them get resources for their specific housing issues. Last year, Homestead helped over 1,300 families. This ceremony happened yesterday at the historic Jefferson Center on North 9th Street.
I don't have anyone come into our office and say, boy, that was a waste of time. I promise you're going to learn something. And they always do. At the end, they always say, I never even thought about that question, because it's not something you talk about every day. I don't know, what's a good thing. There's good debt and there's bad debt, and we talk about the difference in that, and how credit is so important your entire life, even on finding an apartment, or buying a house, and everything looks at your credit. So we need families to be able to learn that, and I think that State Farm's grant helps us do that and helps us get the word out that we are here, we are available to help them.
Almost all of Homestead's programs are free. For more information, head to WLFI.com.
Well, I'm tracking multiple chances for storms this weekend, a cooler start to the week, and an update on that drought that's been plaguing us all summer. All of that and more in my full forecast next.
You're watching News 18 This Morning. News from where you live.
Good morning and welcome back. It's 5:43. Here's a look at your national headlines. Officials in Hawaii say the death toll will continue to rise in the catastrophic wildfires that have swept across the island of Maui. The fires left behind widespread destruction. Hawaii's governor says they caused what's likely the worst natural disaster in the state's history. President Biden declared a state of emergency and pledged that federal disaster aid will bring help to those who need it. A grand jury in New York City has indicted a 17-year-old suspect in a hate crime murder charge after a confrontation at a gas station in Brooklyn resulted in the death of O'Shea Sibley. Authorities say the 28-year-old gay black man was stabbed in the chest during the incident last month. The suspect, whose name wasn't released, is due in court today and could face at least 20 years in prison if convicted. And billionaire Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic rocket-powered space plane zoomed almost 55 miles up to the edge of space, carrying its first group of tourists, including a mother and daughter who won their tickets in a contest. Tickets cost $450,000 apiece. The spacecraft returned safely to its runway in New Mexico.
And now, your Storm Team 18 forecast. Weather from where you live.
Well, good morning, everyone. We are in shape for a beautiful morning. The clouds are beginning to move out. Unfortunately, the clouds will not be gone all day long. This will be a temporary lull in those clouds. We can see here on satellite radar, we had a couple of storms clip our far northwestern counties. We had a couple of reports of some showers overnight. It was very spotty though, not everyone saw rain, but those clouds are on their way out. And further off to the west, I'm tracking this system right now, this line of storms that's beginning to push its way into western Illinois that will impact us at least a little bit into the early afternoon hours. Now, when we take a look at our current conditions, we are at 65 degrees, dew points also at 65, winds are calm and we are clear. And with those temperatures being so close to the dew points, I would not rule out some patchy fog around, at least until around 7 a.m. when the temperatures have a chance to warm up just a little bit and the dew point can departure a little bit from those temperatures. We are at about 5.25 miles in Attica, about 6 to 7 miles out in Fowler, 6 miles in Lafayette, 7 miles in Crawfordsville. Now, these values don't look bad, but these are just the values at the sensors, and the actual values that you experience could be a little different than this, so just be on the lookout for a little patchy fog. Temperatures across the viewing area are in the low to mid 60s. We have a couple of 67-degree temps out there this morning, but we are mostly sitting in the mid 60s viewing area wide. Now, your daily planner, we are going to be around 64 by 7 a.m. With the partly cloudy skies up until 9 a.m. We'll be around 70 degrees by 9, 79 by noon with a 10% chance of rain from that line of storms that's moving in. Winds will pick up with these remnants. Our best chance of rain for today is going to be between 12 and 3, so kind of the 1 to 2 p.m. mark. And that will bring us just a couple of showers. I'm not expecting anything widespread, only around a 20% chance of rain. We'll be at 83 by 3 and 6 p.m. as well. Looking at Futurecast here, you can see that line of storms approaching by 11 a.m. This will be firmly in our area by about 1 to 2 p.m., but it'll be weakening and breaking up as it moves through, so we'll just see a couple of areas of scattered showers. That cloud cover will stick with us, but move out into the evening hours, and then we are clear by 10 p.m., but then we get this second round that sets up around 3 a.m. and then begins to push in, bringing us a chance for severe weather in the overnight hours, early morning hours tomorrow. That should be out of our area by noon tomorrow. Really by around 10 a.m. it should be fully out, so most of the late morning should be dry. Now, this severe weather risk, we are at a level 1 out of 5. It's a marginal risk, and this is primarily for wind. There's a very small hail threat, no tornado threat, and flooding is not really much of a concern either. But on Saturday, we have the remnants from that. In the later morning, in just a sliver of our viewing area, another level 1 out of 5, again, mostly for wind. Looking at longer range Futurecast, Sunday and Monday, we've got chances for rain, but those pass through, and Tuesday looks like it'll be a pretty nice one. Same with the rest of the week. We don't get our next storm chance until next Friday after that. Then when we take a look at our drought monitor, we have significant improvements across the viewing area, abnormally dry in just a handful of our counties, and only 2, maybe a slight bit in Warren County, we're seeing those moderate drought conditions. So vast improvement over what it has been. Looking at the 7-day forecast, we are at 83 today with some late isolated thunderstorms, 85 on Saturday with a couple of isolated thunderstorms. Our best chance of rain this weekend comes Sunday with some scattered showers, especially in the PM hours. We drop down into the 70s Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday's sunny. We keep the sun in our forecast Tuesday through Thursday. Then in the 10 days, it looks like Friday will be stormy, but Sunday we may hit 90.
All right. Well, hey, how about that story right before your weather? You're kind of an astronomy fan, right? Would you take a plane up into the edge of space?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
There's not a man-made thing out there that I would trust enough to do that.
Exactly, me neither. And it doesn't help that the ticket costs $450,000, right?
I'd rather have a house, to be honest.
Yeah, a little bit out of our price range maybe, but maybe someday when it gets more affordable. Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate it. High school football season kicks off next week, and today's edition of Camp Frenzy takes us to Cass County. Sports 18's Kelly Hallinan tells us if the Logansport berries are ripe for a breakout season next.
Is this any better? Hello, hello, hello. Okay, sounds good. It's as tight as I can make it. There wasn't really much give in it, so I'm not 100% sure about that. Okay, sounds good.
And now, sports scores and highlights. News 18. Sports from where you live.
Welcome back. It's 5:51. The Camp Frenzy Tour continues, and now we're heading to Logansport. Sports 18's Kelly Hallinan has all the juicy details on how the berries are growing ahead of the season.
Some might say it's a rebuilding year for Logansport, who lost 18 seniors from last season. But the Berries are confident in their young guys to fill some big shoes so they can have another big year.
Let's go. Let's have a great defensive practice. Special teams on 3! 1, 2, 3, special teams!
They can hear the talk that, wow, you lost a lot. You certainly are not going to be very good. So I think these guys kind of accept that challenge, and they want to surprise people with how well they're going to play.
Seniors Scotty Barron and Isaac Russell have played a big part in helping the underclassmen adjust to varsity football.
We just got to keep them going. They'll get down on themselves because they don't really, they don't know. So I just got to keep them up, keep them going whenever they feel down. They're going to everybody's going to mess up. So as long as we just keep going, keep driving, we'll be good.
Just more reps and helping them on the plays on offense and defense because we have 2 new coaches, so it's just getting a lot of reps.
Despite the inexperience, head coach Mike Johnson sees a lot of potential in this team.
We think that we have some pretty good skilled guys. We think that our backs and our quarterback and our receivers are going to be pretty good. We know that up front that's probably going to be the challenge for us.
The Berries will host Peru for their first game of the season.
We are, going to play Peru in the oldest rivalry in the state of Indiana, and so we're, this place will be packed and will be rocking and rolling. We actually, in terms of what we have in offensively and defensively and special teams, we feel pretty good. So it's just a matter of kind of refining those things we have in.
As far as the players' mindset ahead of Week 1,
we know what it takes to win, so I think we can get it done this year.
Reporting from Logansport, Kelly Hallinan, Sports 18.
All right, cool GoPro footage there. Good luck to the Berries this year. And we're going to take one last check of your weekend forecast on this hour of News 18 this morning. That's next.
You're watching News 18 this morning. News from where you live.
Welcome back. Today's the day to spend some quality time with your kids. That's because August 11th is National Sons and Daughters Day. Celebrating sons and daughters on this day goes back as far as the 40s in an article from a Missouri newspaper about a child asking why there wasn't a special day to celebrate kids. You could mark this special day with a family visit to the park, enjoying a special dinner, or just by telling your kids and your siblings what they mean to you and what makes them special. John F. Kennedy once said, quote, "Children are the world's most valuable resource and its best hope for the future." That's as true today as it was back then. Celebrate by sharing photos of your family gatherings with the hashtag Sons and Daughters Day on social media. All right, well, Jacob and I both got little ones at home that we're going to be going home to today. It's the best feeling ever, so I guess we'll both have to do a little something special today.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no better feeling than going home to
their
amazing. Smiling faces. So.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's a nice day to get out, maybe go to the park, do something like that if we can dodge the rain.
Absolutely. It will not be a washout today. We've got a chance in the early afternoon hours and then another chance later on, especially in the AM hours tomorrow. We stay in the 80s all weekend long, drop into the 70s Monday and Tuesday, 80s at the end of the week, and then storm chances return next Friday. It looks like we may even hit the 90s by next Sunday.
All right, thank you very much, Jacob. And that's it for this first hour of News 18 this morning, but that's not all. We're going to be right back after this break with more news from where you live. Stick around.